Hey, what's up guys? Tyler here with Secureteam. Well, we have sort of a bizarre developing story here, and it all surrounds the recovery efforts and the search for the long-missing Malaysia Airlines Flight 370. Now, if you guys don't remember, basically, Airlines Flight 370 was an international commercial airliner that disappeared over the ocean back on March 8th, 2014, while flying from Kuala Lumpur International Airport in Malaysia to its destination, Beijing Capital International Airport in China. The aircraft, which was a Boeing 777, made one final voice contact with air traffic control at about 1:19 Malaysian time on March 8th, when it was over the South China Sea, and less than an hour after takeoff. The aircraft disappeared from air traffic controllers' radar screens, but was still tracked on military radar as it deviated westwards from its planned flight path and crossed the Malay Peninsula until it left the range at around 2:22 while over the Andaman Sea. And yeah, it's just terrible. The plane just completely vanished. It was carrying 12 Malaysian crew members and 227 souls on board. And so many of you who maybe follow the conspiracy community will know when this happened back in 2014, it was one of the biggest conspiracy theory stories ever, pretty much, and it still continues to this day. And it's almost as if the world opened up and swallowed this plane. It just vanished. And of course, this was followed by a multinational search effort, which was the largest and the most expensive aviation search in history. And since then, there have been countless theories as to what happened, whether it was just a simple crash, although the recovery effort and the fact that they just couldn't find this thing led many people to believe that maybe it entered some sort of dimensional rift, or that it had been abducted by a UFO. It was creepy, and it still continues to be creepy, despite what any of the theories and speculations say. But basically, we've never found anything, except for a few scattered pieces of debris from the plane here and there. Nothing in the past 3 years. And in today's story, even more bizarre, was that there was a search vessel that was out in the ocean in the area where the plane had last been seen. It was searching when suddenly its monitoring system turned off, and it turned off for 3 days. In other words, this search ship disappeared for 3 days out in the ocean. And so according to the report here, the ship, which goes by the name Seabed Constructor, was out searching for Malaysian airline flight MH370 when it disappeared from tracking screens for 3 days after it turned off its own satellite monitoring system with no explanation. At the beginning of January, the US-based company Ocean Infinity was hired by the Malaysian government to search for the missing plane. Its ship, the Seabed Constructor, began the search on the 22nd of January, but on Thursday, after only 10 days, it turned off its automatic identification system, or AIS, with no explanation. 3 days later, it reappeared outside of the search area and on its way to a scheduled refueling stop at the Australian port of Fremantle. Neither the Malaysian government nor Ocean Infinity has explained the outage or where the ship went in those 3 days. Family members of those on board the missing flight have called on the Malaysian government and Ocean Infinity to explain the blackout, amid mounting speculation over the ship's movements over those 3 days that it had disappeared. One of the relatives of a victim on the flight called for greater transparency over the ship's temporary disappearance, saying, quote, "I found the development quite odd, and I'm worrying if this silence and becoming invisible was intentional, to ward off suspicion, and a satisfactory explanation is due. If it was for other reasons, then in the interest of transparency, we ought to be told what caused it. There are no journalists and no family members on board the searched ship. We watch on in good faith, and I hope ongoing official disclosure is of such a high order that there is little room for speculation, controversy, or a whiff of conspiracy." Now, during this 3-day blackout that this ship disappeared, obviously conspiracy theories are spreading, with one stating that the ship also entered or was at least investigating some sort of time warp or dimensional rift in the area that swallowed up the original missing flight. Others have said that maybe the ship had taken a detour to recover a sunken treasure from the nearby wreck of the SV Inca, a Peruvian ship that sunk in 1911 while en route to Sydney. And so, yeah, something strange going on here, guys. Even the family members and the various relatives of the people who were on this flight that went missing so sadly 3 years ago are wondering why this search vessel went completely dark for 3 days. No one knew where it went, and then it just suddenly appears back on radar outside of the search area, heading back to refuel like nothing ever happened. They are silent. The Malaysian government is silent. What is going on? And so, like I said, it's bizarre, and I'm sure they'll come out with a very good explanation, which I'm sure they're dreaming up as we speak on the drawing board. I mean, what were they doing? Again, the disappearance of this plane is just one of those things. It's extremely mysterious. There's so many theories around it. You guys can Google it, look at all of the different theories and the facts yourself. But yeah, it's rare that we have a plane this big with so many people disappear out of nowhere. Hasn't been found in 3 years. We've got search vessels out here doing strange things, no transparency, disappearing off radar. So you guys tell me what you think down below, and I will put the link to the article in the video description. So with that, stay tuned. I've got another video, much longer video in the works. It's about 4 a.m. right now where I am, so it's about my lunchtime. So I'm going to head out of here. You guys have a great rest of your night, and I'll see you back in just a bit.